Hey everyone, it is episode 21 and I'm starting off this week with some smaller jobs around the workshop and then it's on to editing. First up, I'm finishing off the painting with this door. It's just got one more coat to go and then it'll be done. Then I can hang it. Very excited to get that going. I've also just worked on this, I guess you're gonna call it corner molding or crown molding, which is gonna go up in that corner. It's a big chunky 70 by 35 mil piece of timber, pine, but it's going in here to essentially push up this plywood, which is unsupported, and it's going to make it nice and straight. So it should make it look a lot better. The reason the door's off the workbench is so that I can get this piece of plywood varnished up. So this is going to be, if we just move over here, this is going to go down this side of the office. So my desk's going to be here, it's going to be on this side, and then over here I'm going to have some fabric which will cover these studs, and in the bay will be some earth wool. So that's just to improve the acoustics in here. I didn't want to do this over here because I'm going to have a desk here and I'm putting on some shelves. So to then have that fabric, I just didn't like the idea. I think putting a nice big piece of plywood over here is going to make it functional. And I also kind of like the idea of that light pine breaking up all the black. I think that's going to look pretty cool. So as soon as the water-based polyurethane on here dries, I can get this panel installed. I'll then get the door up as well. And then I'm really on to the final stretch, which is going to be to get this fabric down, as I mentioned. Got to get that timber onto this wall, those horizontal slats put on, some gyprock on the outside, and then trim the whole place out. And then I've got to do a window frame in here as well. And then that's the room done. That's also going to be the end of part 1 of this video series. Then the video will come out. And while that's drying, it's giving me a good opportunity to do some editing. One of the ways that I've been structuring my day or my time has been to be in the workshop during the day, Wednesday to Friday, and then in the evenings I do all of my editing. However, I feel like I'm falling into a bit of a trap with this. For starters, my sleep is taking a hit. My boy wakes up at around 5:30 in the morning and I'm on morning duty with him. So if I'm going to bed at 12 o'clock every night, I'm a bit knackered the next day. And it's so easy to just edit into the night because that's also my free time. You know, during the day I'm a dad, and then at night when the kids go to bed, that's my free time. So I get to do what I want and I get stuck into edit. And next thing I know, my sleep is just tanking. The other issue is that I'm really trying to keep my work day as a work day so that during work, I focus on work. Because anyone out there with their own business will probably appreciate this, what I'm now really starting to figure out, is that you can just keep working. I love what I do, I really do, but I also like to have a bit of downtime and I also like to separate from work to be with my family. But I can just work in the workshop and then work in the office just 24/7 and there's never any separation. So times like now where I have a bit of free time from the workshop, I need to get stuck into this editing to try and reduce how much time I spend on it in the evenings. This is something new for me I haven't done before, overlaying SketchUp over the video. This is a very rough edit of it. I've got to get a better screenshot, but I think that's going to be pretty cool to show the office in that corner. This morning I'm heading over to Dale's workshop to collect a nail gun to nail off those strips for the office. This is my first time actually seeing Dale's shed, and I've heard a lot about it. How you going?
Hey, bud.
Excited, am I coming in? Dale's busy turning a very big piece of mango, and we're all super excited to see how it turns out. He's been turning for years, so he's totally all over it, but just watching that thing spin, it's quite frightening to see a giant piece of timber like that spinning.
You can be a sook all day with me, yes you can.
This is Robin from the future. I've just been at Dale's house now helping him to get that giant mango bowl off of the lathe. I've completely forgot to film it, annoyingly, but he's making his own video about it. So if that's ready by the time this video comes out, I will link to it somewhere. Otherwise, just go check his channel out. He will make a video about it, and it's going to be a very, very interesting to watch considering the size. All right, the door is in. The only thing I need to do now with this is to put some door stops around the outside. Yeah. Okay, that's in. We take the battery. I'll set this to flush and let's see what happens. Nothing. Do I turn it on? Okay, something else has gone wrong here. I'll be back in a sec. All right, I've figured out, well, I think I know what the problem is. Apparently, that means that the battery is faulty. So, unless I can get this battery charged, it doesn't matter how much gas I put into the unit. Just a quick update on the Silky Oak table. I'm up to 920 now. At this stage, it's getting really hard to get timber out of the pile because of how warped and twisted it all is. So next week, I'm going to head up to my local timber yard, Studio Doubled, and look for some Silky Oak that closely matches this. I've already cleared it with the client. He knows that this was most likely going to happen. I just can't justify the time now that it's taking me to rip thin strips off of that, because it's just going to make the glue up even longer, and the amount of time that it's adding is just becoming exponential. So instead, I could just go get boards that will make up the 600 mil extra that he needs. They might even be dressed already, and that will just speed the whole thing up. Because my finish thickness is 25, I can't use these because they're too thin. So I'm going to need to essentially rotate it, cut 30 mil strips out of that, and then bring it down to the final 25. So it'll work. I'm just gonna have to put in a bit more effort to get there. The other option is try and pull the timber out of that gnarly pile, and that's just as bad. So this is the lesser of two evils. Today I'm starting the horizontal slats. I've kind of been putting this off because there's a lot of work involved, and I don't have the nail gun that I'd hoped, so I'm just gonna have to do this by hand. So it's gonna take a while, but I think once I get started, I'll sort of get into it and then it won't be so bad. But I'm just so excited to see this come to life. That's the progress so far, and it is going way quicker than I expected. That's been 2 hours, and I mean, it doesn't look like much for 2 hours, but I thought it was gonna be a lot worse. I'm not using a nail gun, so this is all done by hammer, and yeah, I'm really stoked with how it's looking. There are a couple of gaps, like you can see here, but I'm hoping that once I add the insulation on the back and close it off, it will be so dark in there that will just be a black slit that you won't even notice. So hopefully it won't be an issue. Been one of those days when I've been a little too focused on getting things done. All right, it's the next day and the client has agreed to the price of the Silky Oak. There probably isn't going to be enough of the stock, but I've said to him, let's just secure what we've got. I'll get started on it, and then if we need more after that, maybe I can squeeze a little bit more out of those warp boards of this. If we need a little bit more after that, we'll cross that bridge then. Main goal now is just to get what the supplier has. Quick update on the wall. I'm almost at the bottom. However, I do still need to do that left side of the door, so I'm still a fair ways off. Across the top, I'll put one more board, a band, and that you can see the gap up there at the top. What this will do is level everything off with the top of the door frame. So that's the level that I've followed. So I will run that level with that. So almost there.